What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Raymond Ford versus Nick Ball, and this was a 12 rounder for the WBA Featherweight World Championship. And this fight was Saturday, June 1st, from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And this fight was broadcasted on DAZN pay per view as part of the 5v5 Queensberry versus Matchroom card. And in this fight, Queensberry moves up 2-0 over Matchroom with a very slick another upset decision victory here for Queensberry as Nick Ball defeats Raymond Ford by split decision. I mean, going into both of these fights with Willie Hutchinson in the first fight of this card and this Nick Ball fight going into both, I had both of them losing. But what obviously turned out were two big upsets for both of the Queensberry fighters and some very, very good fights as well. And this was an excellent fight. What a war. And I'm not mad at obviously the decision. I personally had it 115-113 for Nick Ball. And I could have saw it going either way. There was a lot of close rounds in this fight. It was an excellent fight to watch, excellent fight to score. And just to break down this fight round by round, in my opinion, or actually just before that, I'll get into the judges' scorecards. Two of them had it 7-5, 115-113 for Nick Ball, and one judge had it 115-113 for Raymond Ford, which I could definitely see. So just to break this fight down round by round, I mean, the first 6 rounds, I gave them all to Nick Ball. I thought he had an excellent fit in the first half of this fight. I really thought he dominated Raymond Ford. And I thought Ford, he would fire back with some shots, but Nick Ball would just bombard him on the ropes, throw big combinations, and overall just outwork him in that first half of this fight. And I gave him all 6 of those rounds. Then, from round 7 through 11, I gave them all actually to to Raymond Ford. I thought Ford really turned the tables, actually started to outbox Nick Ball, pop him with some big shots, actually rock him a few times in between those rounds that I did give him. And I thought he did a much, much better job in this fight, especially in those middle to later rounds compared to Nick Ball's work in the first half of this fight. But then, really, in my opinion, it was the 12th and final round that would really decide this fight. And I thought Nick Ball won it. He came out there, guns blazing, put his heart and soul into that round. Raymond Ford had landed a few sharp shots in there and actually was able to sort of stun Nick Ball, but Ball just really just fired back. His legs were gone, but he kept throwing and throwing and throwing, and his output, in my opinion, won him this fight and won him that last round to really edge this fight in his favor, and that's why I had a 115-113 for the new world champion, Nick Ball, and just what a victory for him. I mean, he got robbed, in my opinion, by Ray Vargas back in March for the WBC world title. Now finally getting another shot fighting for the WBA world title. And he pulled through, and he's obviously now the WBA World Featherweight Champion. So excellent win for him. And this goes into question, what is next, obviously. I think for him, we could obviously see for Nick Ball to rematch, or this could be for both men. We could obviously see a rematch considering this was a very, very close, very, very excellent fight. And it was obviously an upset, so we could see a rematch for Raymond Ford as the champ. But if not for a rematch, I mean, I could definitely see Nick Ball taking on possibly Stephen Fulton, who's the number 1 contender, maybe Mirko Cuello, who's the number 2, possibly Otabek Komatov if he's able to defeat someone else who's ranked. But we could obviously also possibly see Nick Ball rematch, obviously Ray Vargas, who he did have that very controversial draw against, who he dropped twice and should have beat, in my opinion. But obviously there's a lot of options for the new champ, Nick Ball. But as for Raymond Ford, obviously a rematch could be on the table. But if not for a rematch, we could definitely see Raymond Ford. We could obviously see Raymond Ford, take on really someone else who is ranked by the WBA, maybe in another eliminator. If not, maybe someone else who's ranked top 15, top 10. Because Raymond Ford, obviously, if he doesn't get a rematch with this one, I still think he's obviously one of the top guys in the featherweight division, and I wouldn't mind seeing him face another one of these top guys as well. Because Nick Ball, I mean, he's really just jumped onto the scene and really shown that he too is also a top-tier guy, and he obviously showed that off in this victory tonight. So overall, Nick Ball becomes the new WBA World Champion, improving to 20-0 with 1 draw, whilst Raymond Ford drops to 15-1-1. Obviously losing his belt in the process. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.